Okay, we are back, everybody. Let's see if that fixes the issues we have. Mike, give me a 1-2. Um, Sometimes technology sucks. Sometimes technology sucks. Mike, give me something. Because I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. Hmm.
I'm not trying to bang on it, but I'm just saying it's just not. He's just not part of my life.
Right.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
So
Like he told me,
I'm not
like
trying
he
to bang on
texted
it,
me,
but
I'm
I'm
here.
just
I'm like,
saying
that's great.
it's just
Have a good
not. He's
weekend.
just
Like,
not part of my life.
right.
Like
You
that,
know,
right?
like whatever.
So
He told me,
I'm not
like
trying to
he
bang on
texted
it,
me,
but
I'm
I'm
here. I'm
just
like,
saying
that's great.
it's
You know,
just
you
not.
have a
It's
weekend.
just
Like,
not
respect for
part of
me.
my
I'm
life.
not going out of my way to whatever. He told me, like he texted me, I'm here. I'm like, great. Because I have no urge to. So, you know, so, whatever.
Such is. It is what
Yeah,
it is.
whatever.
Yeah.
Don't care. You been watching the World Series?
Yeah, I've been watching. How about with him? You gotta pay.
How about the rookie, man?
Yeah, that's too much.
How about that rookie? 12 strikeouts? Damn.
Bro, he was in single A this year to start
I
the
know.
year.
I know.
Do you know how much Toronto has paid him this year, salary wise? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
$55,000 so far. He's gotten paid.
$55,000. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The further you get in the playoffs, they get a profit sharing.
Oh yeah.
And the way it works out, each player's whatever. If let's say if they win the World Series, he'll get a check for about $500,000. So
55,000. Like, how great is that?
that's big money, dude. That's life changing for a kid like that to start off
Right.
with. So
Right.
yeah, and he deserved it. And more than likely now, endorsements and other things and whatever. So yeah, jersey sales, whatever. So,
Yeah, I can
yep.
hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But at least they got to see our faces for a good 40 minutes. That's not too bad.
You know what sucks? That was probably our best segment we've had yet to date. Right. I know. No.
All right. Well, where should we start? Hey, you guys want to hear my top five list again? Because I'll tell you again if you want to. So yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Put it on.
Here's what we're doing. Our top five list is basically going to be fantasy success, gambling success. I'm doing the fantasy side. Lineup construction, very important. Here's what I do: use Vegas, use DraftKings, use the other companies that are out there building their algorithms. Let them do the work for us. Okay, create a baseline for the players so that when you're looking at it, let's say a yardage guy, he's got 84 yards for his yardage prop. If it makes sense, it's going to make sense for a various number of reasons, which again, Vegas has already established. DraftKings has already established. We looked at when you mentioned obviously the Steelers and how we banged on their run defense. Guess who the number one highest priced player is this week in DK? It's Jonathan Taylor. Makes sense. Okay, the dude's been a beast. And on a good team that's been focusing the run behind that offensive line, the Steelers are terrible. Makes sense why he's the highest priced guy. They're telling you that he's going to have a good day. Now, is it a guarantee? No. But it's a tool that we can use when we're building lineups. When you look at the pricing on DK, a lot of these players, you see, let's say the top 15 guys, they stay pretty much consistent, through at least a series of a couple of weeks, unless a guy gets hurt or unless, all of a sudden some guy steps in and he's having unbelievable weeks. But for the most part, these guys have baseline. So here's an example of a player. Let's say Jonathan Taylor last week was only 8K, and this week he's now almost 10K. DraftKings is telling you that dude's going to have a big day. And more than likely against the Steelers, he's going to have a big day. So use Vegas, use their totals, use their sides, let them do the work. They're the ones getting paid the big bucks to get it right. And for the most part, they do. You see, these lines usually fall into place. So use it as a tool, let them do the work for you. And again, when you create your lineups, whether it's season long or it's for DK or even leading into the props, which you guys will talk about, let the smart guys do the work for you and, find baselines for players and build it from there. So that's one of my keys to building successful lineups in DK, especially.
I like it. So I'm more of a. You guys are more on the individuals. I'm more of a team guy when it comes to betting. Um, Perfect example is I'm going to just throw a team out there, and Florida State Seminoles. Early in the year, people saw them beat number 2 Alabama. It wasn't Nick Saban's Alabama team, and everyone jumped on them. They're going to be great. They're going to win the ACC. Let me explain to you guys something. They're 1-9 in their last 10 ACC games. So if you want to bet for tomorrow, they're going into Wake Forest as a 10.5 point favorite. Why? Wake Forest is 5-2. Florida State can't win an ACC game, let alone cover. And Norville's not a good coach. He hasn't been. FSU's probably going to drop him at the end of the year. And just statistically and just their trends, they don't beat teams. They don't beat good teams in the ACC. And Wake Forest isn't good. They just don't beat any team in the ACC. So I look at trends like that when I bet. I'm more successful at college games. And to me, it's just easier to judge. Look at trends with these teams. Unless they have a star freshman coming up, most of these teams, now the portal's changed a lot of stuff. But FSU is kind of the same team who's lost 9 of the last 10. They still have their core starters, their core players, yet they just can't win. They've had bad quarterback play. They've had bad defense. They can't run the football. They're playing a team in Wake Forest who is 5-2 in a race in the ACC. So giving them 10.5 to me is nuts. And, I'm just pointing them out as look for teams that have struggled continuously. They're favored by 10.5 for one reason, name only, because they're Florida State. That's why they're favored in this game. They might win it, I'm sure, but 10.5 is a lot of points. That's all I'm saying.
That could be your super dog.
It could be, but I don't think it was 10.5 when I picked it. So, but I'm probably going to put. I know I'm throwing some moolah on them tomorrow in Wake Forest. Nice. So, yeah.
Right. That would be a kid's nightmare to have to go to see one of those games. Yeah. Yeah. See, that would be called Halloween, not Halloween. So, yeah, it'd be awful. I'll go. I'm going to go with the Bears here on the road. 2.5 points is fine. I don't like that total. I think the defenses are going to at least try and semblance some sort of game here. I don't trust the quarterbacks on either side. I'm not a Caleb Williams guy. I kind of defended him end of last year, the way he was not turning the ball over, but it's just he's still having the same struggles. And I just think Ben Johnson's going to keep it simple as much as he can. And to me, that limits a team, when you can't throw to the numbers and, you can't run past, the first or second series and be creative in situations where you have to just be better than the other team. I don't think they're good enough for that. So, but still, the Bengals and the backup quarterback, I don't trust him either. So give me the Bears. Give me the under. That's my bet.
I'm with you. I'm taking Chicago for sure. Without Flacco, I think Browning just a turnover machine. The Bears have pretty solid defense. I'm not a Caleb Williams fan at all either. What's the status of Rama Dunze? Is he injured or is he playing? Okay, because I saw questionable earlier in the week. That's all why I'm asking. And I know the rookie's out too. So, that being said, give me Chicago. I think give me Chicago in the over in this one though, because I could see them putting some points up against that bad Cincy defense. And just a little asterisk by Cincy. Another defensive lineman asked for a trade last night from Cincy. So something's going on with that organization. Everyone wants out on the defensive side of the ball, probably because they're getting minimum wage to play there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, not to mention the craziness of the first round pick this offseason after they picked him. How long it took him to get in there over some gibberish, contracts, a contract fine print. That's what that was about. So really interesting with the team, and I think honestly, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, their coach is going into the season. I would believe that.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I feel bad for Burrow. I really do. I mean, I know he's sitting on the sidelines now and he's not really part of the madness, but he's hearing it, he's seeing it. It's his organization, and he knows it's a mess. He's the smartest guy in the room, I'm sure. And what is he going to do at this point? He's stuck. He's stuck behind a bad organization that probably shortened his career by their lack of ability to protect him. Keep him upright first couple of years. It was embarrassing. So, and they just never got any better at that. So it just sucks.
There you go. That's enough for me.
Lions are going to beat the dog's not out of them. I mean, literally, they're pissed, and they know their schedule is not going to get any easier. It's like blood in the water here with the quarterback situation for Minnesota. Yeah, it's ugly. So give me Detroit. Their offense is so good, and they're due for another one of these games where they put up maybe almost 40 points themselves. So give me the Lions. Give me the over. To me, it's pretty simple.
Yes.
You think McCarthy's starting because he's ready again from, or you think because he has to? Because Wentz is hurt. Who's left? Put up my defensive score now because I'm going to take the Lions this week for either defensive score or a special teams touchdown.
I've been on the I do not like JJ at all. Haven't since they drafted him. Didn't like him at Michigan. I think he won there because of that defense. I don't think he'll be a very good quarterback in the NFL. You know, again, sample size is very small, but when he's played, he didn't impress me in the games I saw him play. Um, that being said, I do like Minnesota's defense a little bit. They've been getting hammered the last few weeks. They've been getting crushed. But Detroit, man, that team's a buzzsaw. 9.5 is a lot of points in a divisional game. So I'm going to take. Unfortunately, I think I'm crazy here. I'm taking Minnesota in the over. I think Detroit wins, but I think they keep it close enough where that hook 9.5 is a little bit too much. So give me Minnesota in the over in this one. Chaz, you went Minnesota, Detroit in the over. Okay. Wow. It is.
I told you in this game that the leading rusher and the leading receiver is on the team getting 2 touchdowns. Would you believe me? Because Rico Dowdle has 600 yards to this point. McMillan's got almost 550 yards to this point. And they're the leading statistical guys at the positions for this game. But yet, the Green Bay Packers are a 2 touchdown favorite in this game. I don't think it doesn't jive for me. Now, I mean, that doesn't tell the whole story. I get it. But I think Green Bay somewhat doesn't always play to the level that they should. And this could be a game they're looking at and going, I don't know. I don't know, maybe looking towards next week a little bit for the Packers. I like the Panthers here. I think the Panthers offense has been good.
Is
So,
Bryce Young playing this week?
I believe he is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that being said, 14.5 points, that is a lot of points for me on a team that's got offensive weapon that can score, can put up
13 and a
points.
half, right? 13.5 or 14.5?
13.5, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm all over the Panthers in this game and the almost 2 touchdowns, and I'll keep the over trend going this weekend. So give me the over, Panthers and over.
I'll make mine
Jim?
short and sweet. I'm with you, Matt. Carolina in the over.
Yeah.
For all the reasons you said.
I knew I would change your mind. Yeah, that was some good stuff. Are you still sitting at 28% with your picks? I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, keep it going, brother. Keep it going.
No stopping us now. Mm. Real quick, guys. I wasn't impressed by Green Bay's defense against the Steelers at all, except for Micah Parsons. They didn't stop the run. We stopped ourselves. When you give Jalen Warren had 3 carries in the second half. I mean, he's averaging almost 5 yards a pop. I mean, come on, coaching. What's that? What's he always say? Let's not play in our fears. You know, come on, give me a break. Okay.
All right, side note. Remember last week I found a site. It's on the ESPN page that can get you in the stadium for a
We're not
certain
allowed to
ticket.
talk about that site, Matt. We're not allowed to talk about that site.
Well, this is a different one. You can go see a Titans game for $15 if you want to this weekend. But this is what blows my mind. You can go see the Cowboys and the Cardinals for as low as $16.
I'm going. I'm going.
You to park at that stadium has got to be $100, and you can get into it for 16. You can't buy a hot dog for $16, and
No,
you
but
can go.
you can be the vendor. You can be the vendor though. $16.
Yeah, and that's a Monday night game too, prime time, $16. We should fly to Dallas and see that game. By the way, Steelers, you can get in the stadium for $100, $104. You can go see a Steeler game. So, not that you would,
Yes.
but you could if you wanted to. So,
Yeah.
thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, $16. You can go see a Titans game and probably get a free hot dog. So that's not bad.
Well, you're the vendor. You can make as much as you want.
Correct. Yeah, BYOB.
That's it.
Come see a Titans game. Yeah,
That's it.
that's great. For $15. I like the Chargers. They're getting healthier. I think this is an opportunity for them. I looked at their schedule too. Their next few games are against some subpar opponents. I think they have one divisional game in there, but still, yeah, I think the Chargers start to build some momentum here. I know losing some key players, losing Hampton early was a big deal, but it looks like with Vidal, the way he's plugged in right now, he's been on fire. That kid's like a little, you know, he reminds me of a slightly smaller version of MJD, the way he runs, the style. He's probably a little more versatile. MGD was more of a, you know, a kind of a head down runner, very strong, but sort of similar style type guy. So, yeah, so they've been playing really well. I got the Chargers here blowing out the Titans, who they just can't get anything going. So give me the Chargers, and I'll continue with the overs, 43.5. That's pretty low total. So Chargers over.
Um, the Chargers aren't impressive to me, guys. I'm sorry, they're not. They're one of those fringe AFC teams in the playoff hunt. Justin Herbert has had a good year. That offensive line's bad. Adele is good. I do like him. And I tell you, I do like a lot that tight end, Gabson. He's really good.
Yeah.
He is really good. But I don't know. There's something about the team that I just don't like. Tennessee, though, 9.5. I think they need 19.5 to keep this game competitive, though. They're really bad. They've surrounded Cam Ward with nothing. Absolutely nothing. They haven't even tried to run their two running backs at all. 1 week it's Tajay Spears, and next week it's the other clown. So, unless the Chargers implode, I have to stay on it. I'm with you guys. Give me the Chargers in the under, though, on this one. I don't see Tennessee scoring a lot of points in this game.
The sixth best defense overall total yardage and fifth best versus the pass. Under 200 yards a game. Only 184 per game. So, wow, Falcons, 150 yards a game passing against the Falcons.
Again, stats are misleading. When a team runs for 170 against you, you don't have to throw.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, their overall defense is sixth in terms of total yards allowed. So they're a solid unit. I think they're getting a little better. I just think they're getting better as the season progresses.
Oh, I think, like I said, again, I think they're a fringe playoff team. I think they'll beat Tennessee pretty handily here. So
yeah.
I'm wagon.
Yeah. Number 4, this is important. And, earlier in the season, like we are now, weather doesn't play as much as a factor. I mean, it can. It could be, that's my mouse. It can be rain, storms, it can be other things. But the biggest factor for weather for me is the wind. Obviously, it affects the throws downfield. It affects the kicking game, which ultimately affects scoring. People think rain is a factor in terms of scoring, but personally and through the numbers, it really isn't. Because if you think about it, unless it's a torrential rainstorm, if the track is a little slippery, the advantage goes to the offense because the offense knows where they're going. The defense is the one that has to adjust. So for me, wind is the biggest factor for weather. And as we get into the season now, certainly in some of these colder climates, in Pittsburgh, other places, you got to check the forecasts and know where it's going to be. I know it's unpredictable, but again, there are tools out there. I use this guy named Kevin Roth Weather, using for baseball, which is big. Because baseball, they could actually not play a game because of weather. Football, they're playing no matter what for the most part. Although have we seen more lightning delays in football this year than I think ever over the last couple of years? It's like, which again, I'm okay with. I mean, safety is important. You don't want a stadium full of people and all of a sudden have a bad lightning storm go through. That'd be bad. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, no, there's a little in there, but not much. I mean, it's lightning. I'm afraid of lightning. Listen, just don't eat the Tide Pods, okay? Just don't put those in your mouth, okay? No, so for me, weather's important, and it's one of the things you have to check. So find a site that's reliable, unless you're a weatherman like I am, and just make sure that you're looking at those factors because it makes a difference. And in football, you got 3 hours. The weather from the first half to the second half could be different. I mean, storms come through this time of year, so you got to be aware of that as well. So weather is just another tool I use as a checkbox. If it's going to be a bad weather day, then I may not lean towards players in that game that I want production from because they may struggle and it may be out of their hands. So weather for me is important.
So a little side bit, Chad, before you go. I've known that a long time. You talked about safety. Now, you know how this year the NFL is using those helmet covers for concussions added. Right now, he's wearing one sitting there because when he stands up, he doesn't know his equilibrium is really bad. He falls a lot because that thing's so goddamn big. He's wearing one right now. We can't even see it. So kudos to you, Matt, for safety. So good, Chad.
It's clear. It's just, see right now, it's right here.
Yeah, you know, it's that aluminum helmet he was talking about last week. Yeah. Thank you, Guardian Cap. I was trying to figure it out. There you go.
You know what the insurance is on?
Well, there you go. Throw it away. Throw it away. Yeah. Throw it with my apple. Okay. Throw that out there too. Okay. All right. Mine, really probably a different view here. But I look at what they did last week and who they're going against next week when I pick a game. Because teams, man, first off, is it a rivalry game? That's important. Number two, who's up next in the schedule? A lot of times you go to college game day, you go to NFL games, they're talking about next week's matchup. Well, guess what? You have a game right now. You have a game at 1 o'clock you have to worry about. Um, you know, so a lot of times teams are caught looking ahead with their pants down. And they get beat by a lesser team. You know, and if the spread's anything 6.5 and up, man, I think if you take the other team, I think they guess they have something to play for. A lot of these races aren't, especially in college. A lot of these races for conference championships, they're still up for grabs. So, you know, um, you know, to me, that's important. We got to look at the schedule and see where they're playing. Not only this week, or the game you're betting on, but next week too, because sometimes teams do look ahead. So,
Well, statistically, like I mentioned, the Falcons are number one versus the pass. And then on the other side, I think Drake May has been one of the better quarterbacks in the league this year. I've been talking about in the situational spots where you really can measure a quarterback's success. And that's stuff like on third downs, that's red zone, it's other stuff. And he excels in all of those to this point for a young quarterback. But again, it's mano a mano, strength against strength. Like you just alluded to, when you look at a team like the Falcons, and you even look at last week, what if you go 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back when they got shut out by Carolina, and then they go out and they play well, then they go out and lay an egg. It's like if a team has that sort of inconsistencies, it's tough to put any real faith in them, especially when they're going against a team that I think is better than they are statistically, roster wise. I think the Patriots are just a better team. So I'm going to lay the 5.5 at home. I just think Atlanta, you just don't know where it's going to get. And the Falcons are pushing towards being a playoff team. I mean, they're really have a chance. I mean, not maybe the division, depends on Buffalo finishes, but Buffalo's got holes too. So I like the Patriots here. I think this one stays under the number because I think the defenses maybe are the story in these two games. I mean, sorry, for these two teams. So give me the Patriots, give me the under. Like a nice 27-17 game, something like that.
for me, this is very easy. This is Atlanta's season on the line, as far as I'm concerned. I don't like. First off, I think New England's a favorite champ. They're 6-2. I don't think they're very good. I don't. I think they had one good win this year. If you look at their wins this year, look them up. They're not very good. They beat Buffalo, which is a big win for them. In Buffalo, which is really impressive. They've beaten the Dolphins. They've beaten the Saints, the Titans, the Browns, and the Panthers. So Really not impressive wins at all. Drake May is good, but I don't believe in him one bit. And I think Atlanta rolls into Foxborough and beats them. I think they actually win this game outright. Give me Atlanta in the over in this one.
On a can, target. City on a can, I thought. Yeah.
Agree with you 110% there, Chaz. Yep.
Yeah. Again, statistically, since you mentioned it, Patriots are only giving up 76 yards a game on the ground rushing, second best in the league. And I think we can agree Bijan is the best player on the Falcons. So that should be an interesting matchup. Again, mano a mano, strength against strength. So see what kind of leads there. No, no. It seems hard. I mean, the Giants have been fighting in all their games, and obviously the story with Scadaboo and Dart, the way they played. But I don't know. I just think emotionally, physically, certainly, I mean, it's going to be tough for the Giants to pick up the pieces and move forward. I mean, losing Neighbors, losing Scadaboo. Dart's still a rookie, guys. I mean, no matter how good he's played and how exciting, at least at times, the offense has been, it's just not going to be consistent. And the Niners are a good team. They're going to smack them in the mouth. They play physical and getting healthy. McCaffrey has over 1,000 yards already from scrimmage. So, I mean, he's touched the ball 4,600 times, but he literally has almost 600 yards receiving and 500 yards on the ground so far. So it's crazy. Give me the 49ers. I'm glad it's only 2.5 and not 3. So I'll take that extra half. Niners under for me in this game. Mm, mm,
So looking good. He's starting. He's starting. He's starting. Yeah. I'm going up to the end. I still like Jackson Dart. I still like what the Giants are doing, even without Scadaboo. I just think Jackson Dart has something. I tell you what, he's had built a great repertoire with his tight end Johnson, for sure. Warrendale Robinson's playing well. Slayton's coming back. I think Tracy is if he can get his form back from last year, I don't think they miss much, except for the attitude what Scadaboo brought, which is fun to watch. You know what I mean? That being said, I like what Dark brings to the table. I like the Giants and the over in this one.
I like it. I'll go. Opportunity. What I mean by opportunity when you're building your fantasy lineups is how many opportunities, how many touches in particular is a player going to get? Running back, receiver, regardless what it is. You kind of know what those target numbers, what you want them to look like. Typically, you'll see a wide receiver. If he's getting 8 to 10 targets in most situations, that's good. You look at running backs and you count it as touches. Handoff, also receptions. If you're in that 20 range, it's usually good. Game script plays a big part of that. When you look at game script, you have to look at things like the line. Let's take, for instance, one of the games that we've already discussed. You've got, say, one of the bigger lines. You've got the Packers, you have the Panthers. The line's 13.5. What is that game script going to look like? Is it going to feature the running game more? Probably so, because if a team is legitimately up by that many points, they tend to want to be more conservative and run the ball. Okay, so that's what I mean by game script. Higher totals, if the total is in the 50s or 53, 54 and up, and the line is only a point and a half. What does that tell you? It tells you that both teams offensively are going to probably be in good spots to generate points. That's a positive game script. So you're trying to find players that are going to fit those molds. Guys getting the most touches, guys in games that have higher totals. Looking back, we talked about weather, of course. Not having an issue with weather and wind or rain or other factors that may contribute. That's if you don't have opportunity and touches, you can't score points. So find sites, and I use one. I think it's Football Pros or Football Guys, where it tells you snap share. How many times is a guy on the field? How many routes has he run? How many red zone opportunities has he gotten? All these factors, all these statistics are out there, and you have to use them all to paint the picture, to find out why a guy is being successful and why he maybe is not getting those opportunities you're looking for. So, opportunity, game script, that's very important for me.
for him taking the mask off, having leaned over.
Yeah. I like it. Mine's kind of jumping piggyback from what I talked about in my last segment. Rivalry games. I think yeah, in college that's huge, right? In college that's big, man. I don't care what Oklahoma and Nebraska do all year. They play each other. Man, that's a big game. Clemson, South Carolina, Pitt, West Virginia. Michigan, Ohio State when they play. I mean, you throw the records out the window. If it's a big number, man, you almost have to lean towards that big number because even the coaches seem to play the games close to the vest in those games. They all come in with their ass puckered a little bit. Pardon my French. And just play games closer to the vest. And I don't know. I would love to go back and look and see the last 10 Michigan Ohio State games. It seems like every game is like 13-10, 21-17, 24-21, all with one score games, it seems like, So, and that's just one, Oregon State usually play high scoring games, but again, one score games, Even teams like Georgia Tech, you would think Georgia Tech's not good, but they play Georgia tough every year. It seems like, they get a big spread and they cover it, So rivalry games in college are huge. I always look at that, and it seems to work out. So that's just a trend to keep an eye on.
I know, Mike, you said that this is the type of game that the Steelers will win. Wow, you must have a crystal ball because I don't know how they're going to win. I mean, we've been waiting for the shoe to fall for the Colts, but it's 7-1. I think we can just tie up the laces and consider them to be a contender, and they're going to be in there at the end. I mean, they're doing everything right, both sides of the ball. So why would this be different? I already mentioned the fact of the DK algorithms and picking up on their offensive pieces being so highly priced, like Jonathan Taylor, for instance. I can't expect him. I think he's had 3 touchdowns in each of the last 2 games or something like that. That's crazy. Yeah, it should continue. I mean, I don't. Was the defense all of a sudden gonna be different than what we've seen? I just don't see it, guys. So I'm on the Colts. I'm on the over because even if we are competitive, the offense for us has not been the issue. It's been the defense. So Colts and over. Just more disgust from this game, I'm sure.
I'm taking the Steelers in the over in this game. I agree with everything you said about Indy. I think they're going to score points. I just think we're going to score more. I think they're going to. I think we saw a little bit what Roman Wilson could do last week. I don't think it was a touchdown, by the way, even though it was. DK, I think he'll have a nice game. I think if they get Warren involved a little bit more, I still think we can put 30 up on that Colts D. You don't have the pass rush really to worry about with Green Bay. I'm not worried about the offense scoring points. It's the defense, and I expect the Colts to score at least 24. I just think that we'll at home we're right now, man. Listen, Baltimore's going to win the next 5-6 games. Look at that schedule. So the only way we even have a sniff at the playoffs is a wild card, in my opinion. And this is one of the games at home you have to win. Now, I remember years ago when we were a team everyone talked about as a top 3 team in the NFC, we were unbeatable at home. I'm just going to throw this out there. What do you guys think our home record is in our last 28 home games?
I know we're under 500. So I'm going to say we have 13 wins, 13 and 15.
Jazz? Yeah. Which is like, the last 3 seasons at home. That's what I said. We're actually a little bit better. We're 15-13. But if you want to win your division and be a contender, you have to win 75% of those games as a home team. You have to win it at home. You have to, protect your house. And that being said, this is one of those games you need to win. And again, I'm not on the Steeler wagon whatsoever. I just think this is one of those games where I see us somehow sticking around. Rodgers pulling out because I do believe in Aaron Rodgers. I think he's our best player. I do believe in DK Metcalf. He just has to not drop so many balls. I like the fact they got Pat Fairmouth involved more. We're talking about Austin's back. Hopefully they do use Wilson more. So that being said, give me the Steelers over in this one.
Okay, hope you're right.
Yeah.
Playing really well. Did Tucker Kraft get all those yards after contact last week too? I mean, well, it's embarrassing.
Our tackling is atrocious.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah, it's a low total. Really low. Everybody's on Houston. I get it. Their defense is good. It's been good the last few weeks, especially. They're getting healthier too, but still, the offensive line is just atrocious. Still, they can't block. He has no time to throw the football consistently. If you watch any of those games, it's just they cannot get any offensive semblance going because they can't run a play. And Denver's defense, they're going to be able to mix it up, and they're going to be able to bring pressure. And I mean, even though it's a low-scoring game, to me that means that you're just not going to be able to afford to turn the ball over. And I have more faith in Denver's ability as a complete team, offense and defense, than I do Houston. So to me, that line's off. I'll take the road team, and the total is low. They're telling you something, but I think it's too low. So Denver gets the over barely. Denver the over for me.
I'll go next. I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I think Houston's kind of found himself a little bit last week against San Francisco. I like what they did. I think Denver's playing above their head right now. So give me Houston at home in the over in this one. Houston, the over.
Yeah, it's just two bad teams, in my opinion. I mean, the Raiders have been a big disappointment to me. I mean, I thought that at least there'd be a culture reset with Pete Carroll coming in, hopefully changing things, getting in the right direction. They secured Geno Smith to a deal. They dropped Genti, but it's just been bad. And there's been some grumblings. Genti's not happy. He's not getting the ball enough. They tried last week to no avail. They play a little better, but I don't know. It's just who can, do I have to pick this game? Give me the Raiders at home, I guess. Lay the two. I'll get the 2.5. I'll take 2.5 points at home. And two bad teams get together, they'll probably be scoring too. So give me the Raiders and give me the over. I think this has to be a Genti day. I think you have to use him. And I know Bowers has been hurt. I believe he is playing in this game, though, correct?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah. So I think that makes a difference as well. So maybe they can get some offensive something going, some juices on that side of the ball. Give me the Raiders at home.
Go, Chaz.
Yeah.
He went on IR, correct? I'm with you on Jacksonville, Chaz. I just think they're a better team. I think they'll force them. I think they're still lead the league in turnovers forced, and having Geno Smith on the other side of the ball just helps that. He throws a ton of interceptions. Um, and I'm going to take the over though. I think it's going to be a sloppy game. I think turnovers will dictate points in this game by setting teams up in good field position. So give me Jacksonville on the over in this one.
I'm here. Opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Okay, lots of statistics out there that will tell you what a team can do and what a team can't do. Versus the pass, versus the run, for instance. Or how does a particular team do against a position? DraftKings, what they'll do is if you look at their players, next to their players, they'll tell you the opponent matchup. And they actually give you a little green number or a red number, depending on the matchup. Green number being good, meaning favorable, red number being bad. Remember how I talked about letting these companies and their algorithm do the work for you? If you see that a particular tight end has a little red 1 or little red 2 next to it because of the matchup, more than likely that team defends the tight end position pretty well. So I like to look at matchups. I like to look at where the team's weaknesses and strengths are, and use some of the advantages, some of those other little tells that are out there that will suggest why that particular player is not good in that situation. So that's one of the ones I look at, strengths and weaknesses. Find out what the team is good at, what they're bad at, what you're good at, what you're bad at, and try and find the mismatch. And if you get one or two, check enough boxes, that player is probably going to be a good spot that day. So that's one of the ones that's important.
My number two is we're talking about college ball and pro quarterback play. I think, man, you have the better quarterback. You're more than apt to win usually most of the time. College especially. Look what Indiana's doing. Who would think they're number 2 in the country? Espinoza is something else. Built himself into a Heisman Trophy candidate. On the other end of the spectrum, John Mateer from Oklahoma, everyone thought he was a Heisman Trophy candidate. He's been playing really bad and inconsistent. That's why Oklahoma's fallen out of that picture completely. So, to me, consistency at quarterback. I'm going to talk about my team right now, the Pitt Panthers. Freshman quarterback comes into play, and all of a sudden they're 4-0 in his starts. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards, threw for 432 last week, 13 touchdowns, 2 picks. Good quarterback play, man, covers up a lot. It could cover up a bad defense, opens up the running game for teams. So quarterback play means a lot, especially when looking at some of these games that they're 3, 4.5 points. I mean, it really, especially with a coach who believes in the quarterback. Well, Kirk Cimetti is. Tell you what, he's turned that Indiana franchise around very quick, and he knew what he wanted when he went in the NIL portal and got Mendoza. So, you know, that's my number 2.
happened to Matt Stafford's injury when he's sitting at 17 touchdowns and 2 interceptions this year? Nothing. Scared me off of Nakua, that's for sure. It's just not going to be good for the Saints and their rookie first-time quarterback. Welcome to the show. It's just not going to go well. The Rams defense is very good. They're going to bring a lot of pressure. They're going to make it very uncomfortable. The Saints don't have weapons to begin with, so I can't expect a vanilla offense being very productive against the Rams. So give me the Rams. I think it's going to be a boring second half of football. So when we talk about like game script and stuff like this, I don't think I'm chasing many fantasy pieces in a game like this because I don't know how much they're going to need offensively, especially in the second half. So give me the Rams. I think somehow I got to pick an under today. So give me the under. Rams in the under in this game for me.
Well, fellas, we're all in the same boat in this one. Tyler Shaw wasn't a good college quarterback when it came right down to it against better teams. He's in the NFL now. When he's played, he hasn't looked good. Um, Give me the Rams in the under. It's really simple. He's getting thrown to the fire against a very good team, very good defense. We all talked about this about him the last 2 weeks. I think getting a chance. Well, now he's getting a chance with a beat up Alvin Kamara on his side, a beat up offensive line. He does have some decent wide receivers, but going against the Rams on the road, good luck. Welcome to the NFL, kid. Sorry, I ran in the under.
Clean sweep.
He's going to pick the Rams. Yeah, even more of a reason to pick the Rams. You know? Yeah, yeah. Crazy against a bad defense. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is. I like the Chiefs. I'm not betting against the Chiefs ever again. They're clicking now both sides of the ball. The Bills, I think, have holes on defense. I think if the Chiefs are going to play as well they've played offensively the last few weeks, I don't think they're going to be limited to this game either. Patrick Mahomes has been unbelievable the last couple of weeks. I think he's the number one rated quarterback overall, second in touchdowns and stuff. So they're clicking. I'll take the Chiefs. I'll take the over, even though I think all the pressure in this game is on the Bills. Because again, if talk about matchups, talk about rivalries in college football, certain teams can't get past other teams in the NFL, and I think it means something. So the Bills, this is a big game for them as well, even though it's the middle of the season. And the Patriots, like we said, if they win their game, they could have a two-game lead over the Bills if they don't win this home game, and that's a big nut to cross. So I like the Chiefs. I'll take the over. Again, I see a ton of points in this game, both sides. So Chiefs over.
Yeah, Chad, you stole my thunder right there. I was going to say that exact thing. Buffalo at home, the over. Um, this game's going to be fun to watch. Looking forward to it. Probably more than the Steeler game, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, give me Buffalo. I think a lot of points scored. I think it's going to be a tight game. Um, arguably possible rematch type scenario in a playoffs, possibly AFC title game. Who knows? Um, I still think the top three teams in the AFC, in my opinion, you can throw Indy in there as a fourth, but I still think Buffalo, Kansas City, and Baltimore are still your top three. Indy's got to be four. And absolutely. Right, right, right. Yeah. But yeah, I'm with you, Chaz. Give me Buffalo in the over also. Matt doesn't know anything, as usual, except for picking super dogs.
Give me another one. Give me some speed.
Guys who know anything about college football, yet he picks super dogs like it's nothing. He keeps saying he loves the best hot dogs. That's why he's winning. That's why.
Listen, take smooth. Whatever you do, take smooth.
Smooth. Take smooth.
Take smooth tomorrow. Your boy, Sammy Darnold. Look out. Um, Washington's not very good here. Uh, they've been inconsistent. I know they've dealt with some injuries. They are better. They're 2-1 at home. Seahawks 3-0 on the road, guys. I think they're a complete team. I think the defense, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, they're like Indianapolis West. I mean, they just do everything well. So I'm going to take Seattle again, cross country trip to travel a lot, and Seattle, and again, just real quick, when you throw out statistically some of the key players at all the key positions, Kenneth Walker's leading rusher, Jackson Smith and Jigma leading receiver. Obviously, Darnold, Daniel's been hurt; he hasn't gotten the opportunities, but Darnold, and again, winning the quarterback position as well. So when you're winning all the key positions, I don't know. I'm sticking with it. Seattle over.
I'm going the opposite way.
Chuck.
Daniels is starting this week. Washington needs a win. They're kind of a desperate team. Give me the Commanders and the under in this one. I think they went with defense and Daniels making plays. I think Darnold turns it over at a critical time, and Washington wins this game outright.
Smart. Mark. I know you love Sam Darnold quietly, Chaz. Come on. He's growing on you. All right, top 5 for me, guys. This is strictly tournament approach. Okay, strictly tournament approach, or it could be actually for most approach. So I'll let you guys decide. I like to zig when people zag. What I mean by that is if you generally follow public opinion on most things, you're probably not going to get to the result you're looking for. In fantasy, what happens a lot of times is guys get popular. All right, they get talked about all week. They're in plus situations and they gain momentum. And certainly, guys don't want to miss out on opportunities. So, they get into some of these lineups. The only time that you should use guys that are talked about like that, let's call them like a free space, is if it's a min price guy, min price salary. What I mean by that is somebody on DK that's very cheap, 5K, let's say, or less. And he's all of a sudden thrust into a starting role where there's an injury, and all of a sudden he's going to be the guy, and you know he's going to get 20 touches, and he's min price. Okay, that's a free square. That's where you just plug and play, and you try and get variance in the other positions. But when you're in these tournaments, the only way to win these large field tournaments, when guys can multi-enter lineups, 150 lineups at times, they use these lineup trains, and they use these lineup optimizers that everybody's using the same ones, and they push the same players, these lineup trains. You got to find variance, and you got to go in a different direction. So even though I talked about like DraftKings using the green symbols and the red symbols, once in a while, maybe it's okay to go against the grain on some of these spots, especially if you have urges on certain players. Don't let the public persuade you or dissuade you from players that you like. Okay, there's probably reasons why you like those guys. So take a shot on some of those guys to get different from the masses, because that's the only way in some of these large field tournaments when you're, again, going against guys that are putting in 60, 70, or max 150 lineups. You can't be getting guys that are 30, 40% owned. It's just not going to work. So variance is the key. Go different directions. I call it zigging when they're zagging, baby. Just go different. It's funny you say that about the kickers, Chaz, but the reason why Chris Boswell is going to the Hall of Fame is because their offense sucks, and because he gets opportunities a game. So it's
There's a
sad.
reason for that, though, guys, because Mike Tomlin in the last 6 years has not went for it on fourth down the least of every coach in the league. Think about that. Is it because he trusts in Boswell? Absolutely, but in some games, you know what? There's some points in a game where you need to go for that 4th and 2. You need to go for that 4th and 3 from the 36, and he just won't do it. He refuses to do it. So my number one is something you guys talked about, but it's different when you're betting games as opposed to players. Trends. I keep a close eye throughout the week from Tuesday to Saturday on the spread changes. That's huge. The over/under changes and the spread changes. Was there an injury that happened? Matt, you called on weather. That's huge for over/unders. But the point spreads alone, man, Chad, we've seen from Tuesday when we're on our show till now, we'll see 4 or 5 points game changers. You know what I mean? And because of publics on one team, SMU wasn't even at 9 points on Tuesday we looked at it. Now they're 10.5. All the money's lit up on Miami. So to make that spread go up a little bit more. So I always keep an eye on that thing just to see how much it's pushed up. And you could easily go into Vegas odds and see every day and see how much the lines have went up every day. You know? And sometimes, like we noticed it today in games we're talking about, like why are the Broncos getting 1.5? There's something they don't know. Honestly, Broncos should be at least a favorite. You know, I mean, so they're getting 1.5. So there's something odd about that game. That's why I like Houston in that one. But I always look at trends in swings of games, point spreads, and spreads during the week to see how much. If a game moves more than 3 points, that's crazy. Something they're telling you something. You have to look into the game and take a look and see why that is. You know, so that's mine, fellas.
Easy for me. Cowboys in the over for your $16 ticket. You can go see it. Yeah, it's the Cardinals are 2-5. Kyler Murray still stinks. Hasn't changed. I mean, I don't know. The Cardinals. Who are they? Give me the Cowboys. They're rolling. They're really tough on offense right now. Lamb and Pickens is going to prove out to be the best combination in football this year when it's all said and done, as long as they can both stay on the field the rest of the way. And Javonte Williams, again, team throws the ball set up the run. The guy's got over 5.5 yards of carry. I don't see how the Cardinals can compete. So I like Dallas. I don't think 3.5 is enough, especially with that total being 53.5. So definitely points, definitely the Cowboys, definitely the over for me.
You made a good point about Dallas there, Matt, but let me tell you who runs a train in Dallas. Ferguson. We saw what happened last week. 1 target and no catches. How's that possible? It shouldn't be. The guy was leading all tight ends in yards. They need to get back on that train. Unfortunately for Dallas, Arizona could keep this close because their defense is that bad. They cannot get the quarterback. No, they're not. I don't think it matters in this game. I think Dallas beats them pretty handily. I think Dallas scores 37 to 40 points against that team. So give me Dallas and the over myself. But it was just odd last week seeing Ferguson with 0 points, 0 catches on 1 target. That was very awkward. Chaz and I talked about that on Tuesday. I think actually that night you texted me, said, "What, 0 catches for Ferguson? That's nuts." You know, he's leading the tight ends in catches heading into this game. You know, so I just think they have to get back on their game plan and listen. They have 3 dynamic options to throw to, and Javonte Williams is a nice addition, and also they're getting some backup play from Blue in the running game. So Dallas is forte their offense. I don't see it stopping this week. They get back on that horse and beat the crap out of Arizona.
Pickens on pace for 1,400 yards, by the way.
Not shocked, unfortunately. I still want him out of Pittsburgh, so.
I did too. But still, I could have gotten something for it.
We got a 3rd-round pick.
Should have been conditional.
We're going to turn that $16 ticket.
Yeah, I don't know. They zag. That's all I'm saying. Zig when they zag.
Exactly nuts. Let me ask you guys something. Go, Chaz. Finish what you're saying. I was curious what you guys thought. Do you guys think it's an injury issue with Kyler Murray? Because when he got injured, it didn't look serious at all. So I don't know if it's a confidence thing with him. I don't know, man, but something was not right with him before that injury, and I just think this. I don't know.
So this is like year 3 now where he's not running the football anymore like he used to. So I'm not sure if it's just that injury this year or it's a culmination of things or it's just him deciding to not want to. I mean, not wanting to be that versatile type RPO quarterback where I think his strengths are. But we haven't seen that now for more than just this short period. So,
Right.
oh, Toronto had a shot. They just hit into a double play to end the game. God bless it. They had a shot. Yeah, it was 3-1, bottom of the ninth. They had second and third with nobody out. Glasgow comes in, strikes out Clement, and then gets him to hit into a double play with second and third. He must have lined into a double play. I'm not watching it. I've got it on the computer. Here it is. Jimenez lined into a double play, and the guy got doubled off at second, which means he must have hit a rope to left field thinking it was going to fall, and he got thrown out at second place. The outfielder must have made an unbelievable play. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure that's what happened. So, Game 7, boys, in Toronto.
Tyler Glasgow, you gotta love it. X-Buck.
Yeah, coming in, shut the door.
Yep.
So,
The Blue Jays. Fuck the Dodgers.
yeah, fuck the Dodgers. Tommy Cheater. Yeah. Anyway. All right, that's all. Alex, roll. This is in the over for me. Yeah, they are. That'll change. So I'll take the home team and the over. They're going to score about 50 on Navy. I like the balls and the under. This is easy. Any chance you can get a Bearcat, I'm going to take it. So I'm going to take Cincinnati and the under. Right. You like that, Mike?
I did. That was pretty scary. Yeah. Yeah.
Halloween. So.
Uncle Fester, be careful, okay? over you, Matt. Taking SMU.
I think I'm going to change my name right now. Just give me the initials from now on, CE. That's all you need to call me from now on. Just call me CE, college expert. That's what I want to be known as moving forward the rest of the way. So that's all. Super Dog Champion.
I don't think you're good at Super Dog, but your picks and over under stink. So there's no college expert there.
No, in college I am not doing very well. But yeah, but the Super Dog, that makes sense. Yeah, so Super Dog's up where it's at. That's where you make your money, fellas. Money line, given to us. $10, get you for it. Let's do it.
There you go.
Zig. Well, it's 40 degrees out here. Freezing my ass off, so I'm not used to this. But you guys are awesome.
You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're the one that got us started on this, so you're awesome.
You guys got any plans? Or you guys home watching college?
Yeah, I want to see Pitt Stanford at 3:30. So then I bolt tomorrow night. So
I'm flying from 2 to 2:30 to 5, but I'm on Spirit, so I get free Wi-Fi. So I'll be watching something at home. So
Florida, Georgia tomorrow.
yeah, that's a good one. All right, boys, are we done?
I think Chaz has a little parlay action he wants to say.
Oh, play it up. Play it up. Right.
All right. Woo!
I like it.
Wow. So I had Baltimore and Andrews, but I also took, just because of the odds, Baltimore and the D-Hop. No, it didn't hit, but he was plus 655. So yeah. So I know. Down by the goal line. Right. Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. Hell, last week I had James Cook give me 40. Talk about a week. Talk about a week. But you're right. If they're not going to use him, boy, especially well, what's his name? The other running back was hurt, if I'm not mistaken. Last night he got hurt during the game, so they should have used Achan. You know?
Ollie?
Oh, he got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
His feelings
think.
hurt more than anything else in that game. Did you
I
see his
think.
fight, coach?
Yeah. Yeah. I think McLovin, man, he outcoaches himself down there. Like, what are you doing? You know, yeah, yeah. I can imagine the press is tearing him up down there, Matt, huh?
Oh yeah, it's terrible. For a while that sort of aloof attitude he has, and the capri pants, he was kind of cool and trendy, but they're over it. They're over the whole thing. They've been over it for
Right.
just more stuff to come. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
right now everything is a meme about him, and just it's not good. So it'll be over soon for them, and they'll get their restart started at year's end. So
Yep.
the first fell, and the rest of them will fall accordingly.
By the way, it's October 31st, and since the first time in 9 years, the Penguins are number one in the NHL at this time. Pretty interesting. With the young team, besides the big three, obviously. And by the way, we talked about Tristan Jarry. He's 5-1, so his value is going up. So strike now. Yes, strike now. Yes. Yep. 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 No. Right. Right. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. It all comes back to our defense. By the way, speaking of that, so in a 10-day frame, we had a 10-point lead against Cincinnati and lost, and we had a 9-point lead at the half and lost, all because of that wonderful defense that we spent $163 million on. So beautiful thing, gotta love it.
Hmm.
And guys, you watch the games. How bad is that tackling? Wow, Darius Slay doesn't seem like he wants to hit anybody. They've given up the most yards since they've taken that statistic in 2 games. Something like Chaz says, 244 yards. Are you kidding? And most of the tight ends.
How is Tomlin not being held accountable for this? Like, how is it not?
It's
How are the statistics not being repeated daily?
because in his press conferences, it's almost humorous. It's almost nauseous for me. They'll ask him a question like Chaz says, he won't answer it. He roundabouts everything.
Yeah.
He roundabouts everything. Or someone said, I forget what player they were talking about, and they say he didn't like he was playing hard, and he dismissed it. I think it was Darius Slay on the touchdown to the rookie wide receiver when he had the crossing pattern actually behind the quarterback, and he took it in from like 12 yards out. And Slay was jogging on that play. He was beat from the get-go. And he just dismissed the play completely. It's like, wow. And if I'm a good journalist, I'm hammering you on that.
Yeah,
Piss him off.
hyperbole. He's always dancing and circling and bravado, and and it's old. The players are done with it. One of the things we didn't talk about before is another key tell about coaches and losing the locker room, or at least a feel for what's going on, is what the players are saying. Ex-players, current players, former players on the team, Steelers, not just random journalists or loudmouths in the media. These are guys that are within the team organization that know the team better than anybody, and they're all saying the same thing. It just blows my mind.
I really think that they've kind of turned a blind eye to is talking at this point, and the team has to have a team meeting. And the one thing I heard yesterday, which kind of, I don't know if you might have heard this too, Chaz. T.J. Watt refuses to line up in any other position but that end on the right side, which I thought they moved him around a few games ago. But, again, Nick Herbig, 24 snaps. Nick Herbig, 23 snaps. He's our best pass rusher right now. I mean, boy, Highsmith he's come back and done nothing. I mean, Cam Hayward, that $16 million hasn't done shit for him. He's looked, they look slow. Right. 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 True. No. No. I totally agree there. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And, and is it me, or are we not blitzing as much? It seems like we're only sending 4, and we're just getting our zones getting crushed. Which is a total disregard for what they said in the preseason and in the off season, saying we're going to go. We only go man like 38% of the time. Well, why? You have Darius Slay, you have JPJ, you have Jalen Ramsey. Like, why are you only going? Huh?
So why do we go out and sign Ramsey? Why do we go out and make the moves like this if we weren't going to play man?
You know, you're right. And you know what's funny? I thought they played really good against the Packers in the first half, and they played man and blitzed a lot. Then they totally stopped doing it. Jordan Love looked like Johnny Unitas, for Christ's sake. He looked like Joe Montana. He was throwing grenades up there, and they were just 20 straight completions. That's hard to do. You can't do that in the video games.
No, you can't do the video.
I can't do it. Yeah, right.
I remember, I was there. I know. So, yeah.
That's why I play defense.
4 was good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, 20, forget it. So,
Yeah.
all right.
I mean,
I'm out.
yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. It's awesome. So,
All right.
Peace out, fellas. Good luck with
If
your
you
parlay.
guys are seeing anything in, let me know. Keep an eye on it. I'll put something out in the morning. All right.
Yeah, I probably won't put much out tomorrow, but I'll be home tomorrow night getting all my DK stuff in. So I'll put some stuff on. I'll
right.
throw a call on the Discord. So,
All right.
See you, fellas.
See ya.
Peace.
So real quick, Chaz. McKeesport won 44-7. South Allegheny won 63 to something. So yeah. Yeah, yeah. I saw Clareton another shutout. I think it's their 10th in a row, which is insane. Yeah. So next week, McKeesport TJ. Yep, huge, huge game. Yeah, for sure. And we're done with football. We're done. It's all neutral site now. So good stuff. I like to hear it. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Two things. I think the most attractive job out there right now is LSU. I think the second most attractive job, 1A, would be Penn State. And I think if they did everything you just said, that's a fucking home run. That's a grand slam. Sure. Sure. The AD not being involved. I heard they fired him today. Yeah, I just heard that. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I'm not big on Freeman. I'm not. I think that would be a lateral move for them. They did the Notre Dame to LSU coach already with Brian Kelly. It didn't work out. I think LSU's too big of a spectrum. Not that Notre Dame's not. And Notre Dame's their own brand, but he doesn't experience the SEC on a weekly basis, and I think that's what ate Brian Kelly up. He couldn't win on a weekly basis at Notre Dame. LSU, he was thrown to, he's not a very good football coach. He can win 8 games a year, but he's not getting you to promised land. LSU, and I think LSU fell for what he did at Notre Dame against lesser competition. Freeman, I think, would fall in that same category. I don't. I think he's a good football coach, but not an LSU football coach. I think that would be a bad hire for them. But man, what you told me about Penn State, if I'm a Penn State fan, I'm jacked on that one. I think Urban Meyer would be a grand slam, man. I do. Yeah. You told me that last night. Oh, he was. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. Like Urban Meyer, he left the game because he wanted time away with the wife and everything like that. And so it's without a doubt, without a doubt. I mean, let's be honest. Um, but his coaching, you can't. The guy can coach. No, I totally agree. He's kind of like Nick Saban. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And think about it. The only bigger name out there right now than Saban, I mean, than Urban Meyer is Nick Saban, and he's staying retired. So, right, right, right. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if LSU threw something crazy at him then, be honest with you. Just because they're familiar with him.
Well, I wouldn't
You know, I still don't see. I don't know what LSU is going to do. All I know is that it's a statewide thing with them. You know what I mean? So, but I've heard. It's funny you mentioned that about Meyer. I didn't hear this until you just told me this. But I've heard that he was spotted in Pennsylvania the last 3 days. So, until you just told me this, that tells me a lot. I've heard that Urban Meyer was spotted in PA the last 3 days. So he yeah, one place was a state college, supposedly. Urban Meyer was spotted in PA the last 3 days. So he yeah, one place was a state college. Yeah, pretty interesting. You know. Yeah. And listen, if that listen, you worry about you get the recruits you lost. Guess what? 2 years from now, you forget about it because he'll put that team back on the map so quick. It's crazy. You know, especially with the only thing that's holding these guys back is this NIL shit. I think that's why Saban stepped away. He had enough of that. You know. Right. I mean, come on. College is basically like the NFL, but in a different version. You know, players are going to the highest bidder. Now, again, they don't always work out for those teams, but 6 out of 10 times those NIL transfers are playing very well for their teams. You know, look at your boy in Missouri who was at Penn State. He could have been starting. You know, and maybe Franklin still has his job, but you know, but we'll see.
We'll see how things go, and
Yeah,
hopefully they make a move here soon.
we'll see.
They need to. We'll see how things go.
Well, they need to because recruiting season is right there. I mean, supposedly the kid from McKee Sports close to declaring that he's signing with Notre Dame. I heard tonight.
Yeah, I wish that wasn't the case, but young man's got to do what's best for him, and right now it doesn't seem like Penn State's the best for him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the kid's going to be. I think he visited Georgia last weekend.
Right.
Just from talking to Sarge and some of the coaches, I think he realized if he goes someplace like that, he's not the big fish he's a small fish in a big pond. You know,
he's still going to
not that he's not going to be that in Notre Dame.
Right.
But I think knowing that Notre Dame is more of a run heavy offense as opposed to Georgia, I think that plays into if he's going to commit there or not. So,
I mean, I would still love to see him, maybe change his mind and go back to Penn State, because I'm not sure what the two other running backs are doing. They've been there for like 2 or 3 years, so I'm going to assume that they're going to be done after.
I'm going to say Singletary's a senior, but I'm not sure.
But I mean, he's going to play as soon as he gets there.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, with his
You know?
skill set, even on third downs alone, I mean, the kid's a beast, man. He's a
Right.
game breaker.
He's gonna
And
play as soon as he gets to Penn State. So I mean,
here's the
if
scary
he's
thing.
if he's looking for playing time, he's gonna get it at Penn State.
Yeah. Here's the scary thing I found out tonight. He has a younger brother in 8th grade. They just won the Super Bowl. Dude, he scored 6 touchdowns. And Keeman says he's better than him. Like, that's pretty fucking scary.
Not
You
to
know?
mention, I think his name is King. Not to mention, I've seen the dude. I've seen his highlights. You know, I'm not taking anything away from him, but
Right.
he's like 5'10", and he's playing against kids that are like 4'8".
Yeah, he's huge. Yeah, he's huge.
He's humongous.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, again, I'm not taking anything away from the kid.
No,
At
no.
all.
He's just gigantic right now compared to
Right.
those kids. Yeah.
Right now, he's a man playing a kid sport right now.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like Terrell Pryor when he was in high school.
Right.
How big he was.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to share that little information with you because I
That's
thought it was interesting.
dude, I'm glad you told me. I knew nothing about that. That's a wow factor for me.
Big time.
Wow.
Big time. So
That's huge. That's huge.
Yep. All right, man. Well, with that being said,
All right, bro.
I don't have anything left. Do you have anything left?
No, I'm
All
good,
right.
man.
Well, thanks everybody for sticking with us through some of the audio issues that we've had through the night. We'll get those all hammered out and figured out and get back to our regular shit. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Comment when you come in. We like that. And thankfully for Mike's friend who was able to comment and say that he didn't have audio. But I haven't seen him come back, so hopefully he's still stuck around. But thanks everybody for joining us on this Halloween Eve. We haven't hit November 1st yet. We're going to finish right before that time is here. So with that being said, good night, everybody.